Welcome, everyone, to Ladder Daily Digest. We honor creators, and we are in the Tim Rathbone's virtual living room, where he also he has and a visitor from Bangkok and Brother Jones. And so, Tim, how are you feeling today?
Rushed.
You're feeling a
I,
little rushed.
I just got home just moments ago.
Okay,
Been
so you're going
been
to
help.
be gathering your thoughts
Yes,
a little bit.
been helping a friend this afternoon, and I just barely got home.
Okay, Brother Jones, tell us how many hours you spent on the plane the last 24 hours or whatever.
On a plane, roughly uh, roughly 19 hours, give or take. Yeah, long.
Wow.
Yeah, and so Randy had an event that he forgot about, and so he's at that event, and he might pop on in a half hour or an hour or so. Megan has a family thing to do, and so she'll do that. She may, we'll see if she keeps it on. We welcome her viewers. Um, Sometimes she cancels the show and tells her viewers to come over to Latter Daily Digest or Momo Nomo.
I thought she was going to do a pre-recorded.
She offered to
message.
do it, and by the time I saw that message, I just did a thumbs up, and I haven't checked my email or anything to
Okay.
see if she sent anything.
All right.
I do everything on Facebook because I'm old, apparently, and so I'd have to look at some other things. So we're going to talk about the top 40 dishonest things from Mormons. And Mormon Stories, John DeLynn put out the top 40 most dishonest acts in Mormon church history. And I think it was like 3 or 4 years ago. I remember he asked people to add to it, crowd source this. And I'm going to bring it on to the studio real quick and see how many buttons it takes me to push. Let's share the screen. Share the screen. It's coming.
We'll get there.
Seconds. And there it is right there. I wonder if I can make it a little bit bigger. I cannot make the screen bigger. I can make it full screen. Are you fine with this, Tim?
Looks good.
I'll just read the beginning. It says the top 40 most dishonest acts in Mormon church history. One of the most common questions asked of me, John DeLynn, is, do the brethren know that the church isn't what it claims to be? Are they intentionally misleading the membership at this point? So I guess it's one of the most common series of questions that he's asked. And he said, up until recently, his answer has been no. They are sincere men who genuinely believe that the church is true. After my recent interview with Shannon Caldwell Montez, which was a great interview, so that was about 4 years ago, maybe, about the handling of the B.H. Roberts / Book of Mormon faith crisis affair of 1922, I started to think about how outrageously dishonest it was for the Mormon Church to intentionally withhold from its members the legitimate scientific concerns surrounding the Book of Mormon and Book of Abraham for almost 100 years, while also attempting to erase from church membership any memory of the life of B.H. Roberts. I wonder if he meant memory. Oh, from the church membership, any memory of the life of B.H. Roberts. This reflection led me to make a starter list of the most outrageously dishonest actions by the Mormon Church and its leadership over the years. I have created a starter list below. Will you please review my list and help me include any other things? It'd be amazing to turn this list into a book someday. Does anybody want to help? And, what do you call it? Edit it, right? Fact check it. And what should he add? So He changed it to the top 50 most dishonest acts. Are you able to read it at all, Tim?
I have it on my phone.
Yeah, you have it on. Go ahead and read the first one, unless there's anything else you want to do to set up this. If you have any memories of Mormon stories or John collecting these things.
I submitted some things to it.
Okay, you added.
I added to it. Yeah. The Mormon Church teaches its members for decades the story of Joseph Smith declining alcohol as a boy during his surgery to give the impression that he obeyed the word of wisdom during his life, well knowing that Joseph Smith both drank alcohol as an adult, including drinking wine the night before he was killed, and supported alcohol production and sales in Nauvoo, including a bar and the Nauvoo Mansion. So,
Do you have any comments about that?
They all drank back then. They all drank coffee. They all drank alcohol.
They believed in spirits.
They believed in spirits. That's right. So they were not.
So that's one thing is like.
So
yes, we're taught that the church was like perfect. Although at the same time they would talk about Joseph learned line upon line, precept upon precept. It would be nice for them to say, yeah, he drank, and lots of Mormons drank until the early 1900s when it was made a temple recommend question, right?
1930s when Heber J. Grant.
Well, whenever it was, they could at least say that, right?
Right.
Instead of just not saying stuff. So number 2 is Joseph Smith falsely claiming to have the gift and power of God to translate ancient languages into English when he knew that he didn't have this power, and plagiarized significant portions of his translations. So that fact, and every time we read something about Joseph Smith in particular, led me to believe that the church is based on lies. And we'll get into most of that. And so it makes a lot of sense that there's dishonesty going on. A recent thing is the church is dishonest about what the abuse hotline is.
Yeah.
They think it's part of the protection of innocent victims, and it's not. The hotline is about protecting the church. There's myriad stories. I don't know if I've even heard one story about a victim saying the church was absolutely great when I reported my abuse. The church put all the machinations working to get me counseling. The perpetrators were punished and put in jail, and their acts were made known to try to find out more what other damage has been done. They were never given another position in church leadership again, like say counselor in the bishopric in the future, or member of the High Council, like even just happened recently in San Antonio. And so that's kind of a dishonest thing there. That's even today. But there are lots of good teachings and lots of things happen good. Are you able to read number 3? Or is Brother Jones able to read any of these? Brother Jones, do you have this up on your computer?
3. Number 3, the Mormon Church knowingly deceived members by portraying Joseph Smith as translating the Book of Mormon using the breastplate and the Urim and Thummim, when they knew that he actually used a stone in a hat.
A stone in the hat. Now, Tim knew about the stone in the hat because he saw Joseph Smith peep into the hat.
Stone in the hat. That's right. I witnessed it.
But actually, when did you first know of the stone in the hat? Sort of.
There was an article in Dialogue that somebody wrote about it.
In the 60s or 70s or 80s?
either the 60s or the 70s. It was an article and dialogue and then some talk.
I remember President Nelson actually in the 90s, and it wasn't in conference, but it was in some sort of conference-like setting where he reiterated the story from one of the 11 witnesses, we'll say, that talked about how Joseph would put his head in the hat and read what it said on the rock. And to me, that was like, oh, well, that guy got excommunicated from the church, right? And even though Nelson is quoting it, he's not testifying that that's what happened. He's just quoting what somebody said.
Well, there was also an article in the Ensign that I think Richard Anderson wrote that talked about looking in the stone and the words would appear on the stone or in the stone somehow, that he would see it that way and read it that way.
Right, but never part of any lesson plan. Never
Right.
part of the pictures that you get when you're a teacher and you go to the ward library and you get a set of pictures for your class. No artwork.
And it's in the official history. It's in the Joseph Smith history. Says how that he used to hear him and tell them. Yeah.
Right. I wonder if it was in B.H. Roberts' did he write the documentary history of the church? 6 or 8 volumes. I wonder if it was in there or not.
It's in the Joseph Smith history.
Okay. So read number 4 then, Tim.
Joseph Smith knowingly and intentionally altering revelations written down in both the Book of Mormon and the Doctrine and Covenants once they were demonstrated to be true or untrue, false or untrue.
Right. And
like the wood, like the working with the rod changed to the gift of Aaron.
And how do we know from what source, what truthful, wonderful couple source do we know where most of these changes occurred?
The Book of Commandments compared to the 1835 Doctrine, 1832 Book of Commandments compared to the 1835 Doctrine and Covenants is when the changes were made.
Right, but what couple that operated the Lighthouse Ministry let everybody know about all these changes?
Oh, the Tanners?
The Tanners did, right? That's their part in the big red book that was talked about in the Under the Banner of Heaven.
Yeah. Mormonism, Shadow of Reality.
Mormonism, Shadow of Reality. Okay, number 5, Joseph Smith intentionally defrauding members of the church in Kirkland over their savings by knowingly creating a fraudulent bank and then misappropriating the funds. What do you think about that, Tim?
Not good. Not good.
So I remember
where they walked in and they had box and barrels of buckets of slugs and sand, and then they put coins on top of them to weigh it down. Very dishonest,
Yeah, and we have people saying that those things happened, and yes, and calling it an anti-bank bank, as Trevor says.
Anti-bank bank.
And so like they didn't get approved, and so they went around the rules. And but I also remember reading that there was a general decline in the economy in the United States economy.
Right.
But I recently heard that the anti-bank collapsed before the either regional or nationwide collapse of the banking system.
Yes.
And I also know that they printed $3 bills. And I remember hearing people saying it's as good as a $3 bill or something like that. I don't remember what.
Well, there was no national currency at the time.
Right.
Not until after the Civil War, really, was there a national currency. Each mint and state had their own currency, basically.
So, Brother Jones, are you able to Are you just talking straight to your laptop, or are you using earbuds, or what are you using?
I don't have a separate mic.
You're just using your laptop.
Yeah.
So somehow it seems like you're in a cave. So when you do talk, maybe just sort of maybe come closer, but talk gentle or not necessarily louder. But hopefully that will help some. Do you want to read the whatever one we're on next?
Number 6.
Number 6.
Number 6, Joseph Smith manufacturing the bestowal of the Melchizedek priesthood years after it was supposed to have been given to the church, and then amending history accordingly. I have a comment about this. I first learned about this problem from Rough Stone Rolling.
Right.
And I have to admit, there were two things in there that I just didn't make sense to me. The first was, how could the early members not know about the first vision story? And then this second story didn't make any sense to me. So anyway, that was all news to me in 2016.
Do you have anything to say about that, Tim?
I first learned about it when I was at BYU from Brent Metcalf, and then also from Grant Palmer.
And we knew the exact day when the Aaronic priesthood was restored, but the Melchizedek priesthood had a question mark. Sometime in the spring.
Yes. Well,
yeah, it seemed odd to me that there wasn't a specific date. It was like just a few weeks later.
Yeah.
And the
supposedly
location,
when they were on trial and they got let go, and it happened while they were let go and wandering, going back to wherever they were going. Yeah. Yeah, and I heard family lore. It's been so long I can't remember it, but
Okay, number 7, Joseph Smith. And so what's the problem with that, Tim?
that there's no date.
That
the problem is that we can't tie it down to any date or time.
and the problem with the early church supporters of Joseph was
they
that
didn't know.
Joseph Smith had one calling at first, and that, according to his own revelation, and that was
Prophets.
to bring forth the Book of Mormon.
He was
And then
a
all of a
prophet.
sudden Joseph is making up all this other stuff. And who left? Martin Harris, I think, said, I never heard of the Melchizedek church priesthood until like 5 years into the church.
David Whitmer,
same thing. That's why they left the church. People say, they left the church because they lost their faith, right? They lost their faith because Joseph was changing stuff.
Right.
And if they complained, what happened?
Excommunication.
That's right. That's why Tim is so nice to me, because he knows that if he complains to me, he will be excommunicated from his own show.
Right. That's right.
Okay, Tim, read number 8. Or wait, no, number 7 is a big one.
Joseph Smith excommunicating Oliver Cowdery for accurately accusing him of an adulterous affair with Fanny Alger in 1838.
So what's the dishonesty around there?
That Oliver Cowdery told the truth.
And so you excommunicate somebody for telling the truth.
Tell the truth.
The church has a long tradition
of excommunicating people who tell the truth.
Yeah.
Hey, guys.
Hi, Randy. Randy's
here.
Go ahead and pull up the list.
What's that?
Did somebody else take the list out?
No, it's in the chat. It's in our group chat. We're on number 8.
Oh.
of the
Cool.
40 thing.
Tim, I love your Santa outfit.
Thank you.
Tim is playing the Grinch towards the Mormon Church this week.
I can't imagine.
I could have gotten a Grinch hat tonight, but I didn't. I got this instead.
It's pretty
Maybe I'll
much the same hat, but green.
Grinch.
Or doesn't
Yeah.
he wear the Santa hat anyway when he fakes it?
Yes, he does. That's right.
So there you
Right.
go.
Yeah.
So number 8 is Joseph Smith overtly lying to Emma about polygamy, which included Joseph performing a fake sealing of Emily and Eliza Partridge to Joseph after it had already been sealed to them both secretly.
Both secretly.
So today, Randy and I interviewed a helper of Michelle Brady Stone, and we're going to show that show later. And they have she's helped Michelle and Cheryl Bruno start the Journal of Mormon Polygamy, which, while a lot of people think it's founded just so that we'll say polygamy deniers, or there's another word, reformation of the truth, or
Monogamy affirmers.
monogamy affirmers.
Yeah.
And so anyway, she lays out a case, and she did a whole movie. And so Latter Daily Digest honors creators, and she created a movie. And so we interviewed her about that. She's a wonderful person. And because she was telling her truth, the church excommunicated her. And so.
And there's one that's coming up. It's not.
Yeah, we don't know who the person coming up is. And so.
But it's not Michelle Stone.
Yeah, Steve Pinecker gave us an early Christmas gift by saying somebody was going to be excommunicated, but I'm not going to tell you who it is. So it's like getting an early Christmas gift that says, don't open until New Year's Eve.
He just did a short today saying it was not Michelle.
Yes. Yes.
But he knows who it is. But
yes, he knows who it is.
I was just responding to songs. Michelle Stone wasn't exed, right? Because she complied with their wishes.
Yes.
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 Yeah. All we know is not Michelle. So every member of the church right now is under the firing line except for Michelle Brady Stone.
Well,
anybody,
but more than likely a polygamy denier who
actually Steve said it was not a polygamy denier.
That's right.
So, and it's somebody who had a podcast. So that's only half the members of the church.
So how does
that down a little bit?
How does Steve know?
Because Steve talks with people.
He's got people.
He's friendly.
He's got people. He knows people who knows people who knows people.
And so some of these songs wonders if it's Julie Hanks, but I don't know that Julie Hanks took any of her stuff down. And I wouldn't consider Julie a top podcaster.
Well, Julie has pretty much.
And she's already been anti lately. She's vocal about how shitty the church is, I'll say.
Yeah, she's moving on.
Disappeared for the Lord.
Disappeared for the Lord. Very good. Very good, Trevor. Very good. Yeah.
So David, thanks for watching from Third Verse.
Yes, thank you, David.
Megan would have been here. She would love to talk about the Mormon Church being dishonest, but she has some family event to go to.
Yeah.
Okay, what number are we on? And Randy, are you able to read those things, or I can post the link in the chat again?
Oh no, I can read them just fine.
We're number 9.
Cool.
Okay, Randy, read number 9.
Oh, you want me to read it?
Yeah.
Joseph Smith overtly lying to LDS Church membership about his practice of polygamy. Well, that he did.
Yeah.
That was an interesting interview this morning, Gene. To hear someone on that side of it, on Michelle Stone's side.
Yeah, it was good. So look forward to it later this week.
I can't wait.
Yeah. Who's next?
10.
Tim, are you next?
No, but I'll go. Joseph Smith calling men on foreign missions so that he could proposition their wives for polygamy, like Orson Hyde. Or is it Orson Pratt?
That's sneaky little Joe.
I think it was Orson.
Yeah, I guess that's dishonest.
Orson.
That might sneak under the dishonest line, where if you send somebody away to marry their wife,
Yeah.
I'd say that might be a little creepy.
that might be a little creepy.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll read the next one. Joseph Smith publicly maligned women as whores who denied his polygamous advances. So yes, I would. He is being dishonest by doing that. He would write letters to the editor and say, if you hear this person say anything, don't listen to her because she's a whore.
That's right.
Yeah, she wouldn't sleep with me, so she's a whore.
That's right.
Yeah, I don't know how many women fit that category for me. It's like
None that I've heard of, Gene.
It's like 4 billion won't sleep with me.
We can all call them whores.
Yeah. So anyhow, who wants to read number 12?
Joseph Smith destroying the Nauvoo Expositor because it accurately reported that he was secretly practicing polygamy and lying about it. Sorry, Brother Jones, if I cut you off. I didn't mean to.
Brother Jones can read the next one.
And I'll say about that one, we didn't mention this to our guest, and that's our guest was Karen Hyatt. But, Joseph Smith in destroying the expositor acted like the expositor was telling the truth about him. Because if you're innocent, you don't, if somebody accuses you of stealing a bank and you burn their house down for doing it, for accusing you, when all you have to do is come up with an alibi and say, oh, I wasn't near the bank. I was in, Florida last week. Here's my credit card receipts, right? You don't have to burn something down in order to prove your innocence.
Nope.
Are we on what?
14? You want to read 14?
14. Mormon Church.
Or maybe 13. Maybe 13.
Mormon Church continually portraying Joseph Smith as an innocent victim leading up to his death.
Yeah, I don't know how many times I heard Joseph Smith was arrested 30 times and not once convicted.
Sounds like Donald Trump.
That's like that would be like somebody saying, hey, Gene, have you been convicted of murder? Oh, no, not convicted. Nope. Like, that's not really a great comeback.
Yeah. You mean that I actually do time for it?
Yeah. It's like, interestingly, none of the witnesses survived long enough to testify against me.
OJ was never convicted of murder.
That's right.
But he was found responsible for the death.
That's right.
If the glove don't fit, you must
have quit.
Number 14, the Mormon Church knowingly and falsely portraying Joseph Smith as a monogamist in its curriculum for the members for over a century. And I remember in 2015, the headlines of like the LA Times or something said, Mormon church admits to Joseph Smith's polygamy. And yet Tim's going to tell us he knew all about it 35, 40 years ago.
Well, when I was 11 years old, I spent the summer with my grandfather. My grandfather, Wild, was a bishop for 20 years in Kemmer, Wyoming, and the stake patriarch in Cheyenne, Wyoming. And he sat me down and he told me all kinds of stuff. He filled my head with all kinds of stuff. And he said, Timmy, you got to find out why these things happen and what was going on, because I sure don't know. And he was friends with Lee, Harold B. Lee, and Spencer Kimball. When I was there for the summer, one of them came for state conference and stayed with Grandpa. I don't remember who it was, but all I know is it was a general authority. Yeah,
Wow.
he knew these men. Well, he was a bishop for 20 years and state patriarch, and he was in finance. He was also a state senator in Wyoming on their legislature.
Right. But the main thing about that point is that they portrayed it in its curriculum as
Right.
Joseph Smith being quoted as, I'm accused of having 7 wives, but I look around and only see one.
One.
Well, maybe his 6 other wives were in the next room. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not really a denial, is it?
No.
Okay, Tim, read number 15.
The Mountain Meadows Massacre. Mormon leaders and church members in southern Utah promising peace via a white flag to the besieged member of the Baker Fancher immigrant wagon train, and then dressed up as Native Americans so that the Native Americans could be blamed for the massacre. In total, 120 men, women, and children were massacred.
It has a special place in your heart, doesn't it, Tim?
Yeah, it does.
You know,
I still haven't finished my poem I started to write last year about it.
I watched, what's her name? Is it Elise? What is the...
Elise Ansola, Cults to Consciousness?
Nope.
Alyssa Grenfell?
Nope, the one that is pro-LDS. One that...
Jasmine?
I saw her on Rebecca Biblioteca ran a clip of her. I was surprised that she actually admitted to the fact that these innocent people were slaughtered by the LDS.
Jasmine actually is pretty good overall, you know.
Yeah, I was surprised.
For a TBM.
Told it like it was.
Randy, you want to read number 16?
Sure.
Or Tim, did you want to say anything more? Or, well, actually, the next one is more. Go ahead and read 16, Randy, and then we'll...
Brigham Young, assisting in the cover-up of the Mountain Meadow Massacre and scapegoating John D. Lee as primarily responsible for the massacre.
There you go.
Yeah.
Do you have anything to say about that, Tim?
It's sad.
Did you ever read John D. Lee's book?
Mormonism Unveiled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah.
Did he spill any tea that you were surprised?
No, just that he talked about the Danites and how he was a Danite, and he did the behind the ear thing they talked about that they did. And
but he didn't, even in that book, he didn't say that Brigham Young ordered it or anything like that.
I don't believe Brigham Young ordered it.
Right.
I think we should clarify the author of that book again. I think there's
John D. Lee.
He wrote Mormonism.
So yes, he titled his book also Mormonism Unveiled.
But the one that was published in the 1830s, Unveiled, is spelled differently. It's spelled incorrectly than John D. Lee's copy.
Or just differently. We'll say colloquialism at work.
Colloquialism.
Well, he should have named it Behind the Green Apron.
Yeah.
The name that we didn't go with.
Yeah. That might be Randy's memoir.
Yeah, it's just now that all the evidence has finally come out, when Ron Walker's book, there wasn't a lot, according to his book, there wasn't a lot of a cover-up as we thought there was. But the cover-up was really the people not talking about it, and nobody's saying anything for years about it. Yeah, it was executed by a firing squad right there. And there were three separate places where they were killed. The men were killed where the big cairn is, and the women where the other one is that you can't get on. And then there's a third one where the children were killed, the kids above 8. So, yeah. Yeah. Hi, Miss Woozy. Yeah. It's tough. It's a tough one. I had a friend who went on a mission in Arkansas and told me about the persecution he got as a missionary. He was there.
And the thing about the Mountain Meadows Massacre is, all my life as a young person, I would hear that it happened, and that the message was that it wasn't really the Mormons that did it.
Right, it was the Indians.
It happened in Utah, and we're sad that it happened, but it was not any Mormons doing it.
The Mormons killed the men, and the Native Americans killed the women and the children. That's the way it happened, because they didn't want to be associated with killing the women and the children. So they all shot.
And they kept some of the children alive.
Under 8, if you were under 8, they kept you. But if you're over 8, you were a goner. Yeah.
Let's see. 17, the Mormon Church telling the world in 1890 that it was stopping polygamy, then secretly and intentionally continued to practice it at the highest levels, including allowing new polygamous sealings for several more decades. And then when another apostle did it surreptitiously, he got excommunicated 30 years later.
Well, let me go back to what Hellfire said. Yeah, President Hinckley. I think President Hinckley did his best to heal the wound when they rededicated the monument there. Yeah.
Where is his comment? Oh, right
yeah. I was going to mention that. But there's still hard feelings. So, but now this one, okay. According to Mike Quinn, the last polygamous marriage that he found was in 1925 in the Logan Temple.
And I think he counted like 236 post-manifesto.
Yeah, 200, yes, something. I've got the figures somewhere.
I want to comment on this.
Okay.
If I'm not mistaken, we know about this problem primarily because of Michael Quinn's work.
Well, Mike and Cannon, was it Brian Cannon? Yeah. Excuse me, 3 articles. There was an article in Sunstone, and another article, and then what Mike did with post-manifesto polygamy. And my grandmother was born in 1891 or 92, so she was born after the manifesto, when her father wasn't supposed to be seeing the other family. One was in Wyoming, one was in Bear Lake, and the other one was in Afton, Star Valley, Wyoming. And she was born, and there was another one born, a boy born after that. And she always felt some shame for having been born after the manifesto. So it's a generational thing, and even I still suffer from that. That's affected my life.
Yeah, so for those who want to understand this issue, just Google Post-Manifesto Polygamy and Dialogue. Get the article. It's about 100-page article.
100-page article.
And it is very interesting read. And it's really, really stunning what Quinn uncovered.
Yes.
In my opinion, it is egregious lying.
Well, even Wilford Woodruff had a plural marriage in the 1890s in the San Francisco Bay or off the coast of California outside the territorial waters to some lady. I can't remember the exact details about that. But, so even though he signed the manifesto, he was still practicing polygamy afterwards. So you can never believe what they say is true, because that's it. And I met Rhea Coons, Rhea Coons is a woman who is highly connected with the polygamous community in Utah. And she told me that she knew of members of the church that were practicing polygamy in the Salt Lake Valley. She said some of them were general authorities. And at that time, I questioned him. And now I'm pretty sure it's probably true, considering that I know from a friend that Bruce M. McConkie had at least 3 affairs during his tenure as an apostle. So they may not have just been affairs. He may have been shielded them. We don't know, but it's entirely possible that they had these secret. Once they get their second anointing, they can have these secret marriages.
Yeah, on this issue, if I'm not mistaken, somewhere in the coverage of this issue, D. Michael Quinn mentions that when he spoke with Gordon B. Hinckley about this, if I remember right, it was something like he was visibly shaken.
Yeah.
Like Hinckley didn't even know about this issue at the time. This would go back and probably into the 70s or 80s, probably the 80s, probably the 1980s. Anyway, it's a really interesting subject, and to me, it says a lot.
Okay, I'll read number 18. The full leadership of the Mormon Church being put on explicit notice by 1922 by B.H. Roberts and others that both the Book of Mormon and the Book of Abraham contain significant scientific problems, and then hiding this information from members for another almost 100 years and seeking to suppress the memory of B.H. Roberts. This included the church telling Truman Madsen not to publish his biography of B.H. Roberts in 1965 out of fear that it would challenge the faith of its members. So I want to say this about challenging faith. I read somewhere in the Book of Mormon, probably Alma said it, that faith is the hope for things which are not seen but are true. So if you have faith in something that's untrue, you don't really have faith. Something needs to be true. So yeah, in order to have faith in something true, you have to do some investigation. So I'm going to challenge people to investigate the truth claims of the church.
Yes.
Who wants to read 19? Randy?
Okay. Mormon Church historian and eventual prophet Joseph Fielding Smith encountering the 1832 version of Joseph Smith's first vision, which significantly contradicted the later 1838 official version of the first vision, and thus ripping it out of Joseph's journal and hiding the account for decades until he was publicly exposed for having done so, and then taping it back into the journal. No one will ever know.
It's kind of funny because the Joseph Fielding Smith, as a historian, wanted to preserve the page, but as a descendant, as a great-great-grandnephew of Joseph Smith, he wanted to hide it. So it's kind of funny.
Yes, it is.
It's very funny.
My biggest thing about Joseph Smith's in his own hand says in 1832, I already realized that all the churches aren't following what Jesus wants. And I'm going to go. And I went and prayed for my forgiveness of my sins. Right. And then, but we're all taught that he went to ask which church was true.
Right.
Which is dishonest, because he, first of all, whether it happened or not is a question. Second of all, since he post-dated, you can tell he post-dated the 1838 version, because the 1832 version just said, I saw the Lord and the Lord opened a vision to me, right? Or something like that. Open the doors of heaven or something. Right? He doesn't say two personages. The 1838 version says he saw God and Jesus, right? And so therefore he knew that they were two separate beings. And yet the Book of Mormon that he wrote, that was published in 1830, basically had the Trinitarian version. Right, Tim?
Isn't that something?
Right. Right. And
I had to change it.
I kind of am leaning towards him asking for forgiveness of sins, because in David Patton's diary, David Patton talks about before being a member it happened, and there's Charles Gadsden Finney in his biography, and a couple of others of preachers at the time.
Right, like 20. I think there's 20 published testimonies of them praying to receive a forgiveness of their sins. And so if you wanted to be a church leader, that's what you did. That was the popular sort of, what is it called when you're a kid and you read pirate novels? You're sort of fantasizing. And so he maybe was fantasizing that he'd be a church leader someday. And so, because he had been an exhorter, which is a preacher of a type. Right. And so he knew he had the chops for that.
Gene, I fantasize all the time, but there's never pirates involved.
Well, it'll come. When you're older, Randy, like I am,
I'll start fantasizing about pirates.
It's almost all pirates from here on out.
Hey, pirates are cool.
20. The Mormon Church excommunicating David O. McKay's niece, Fawn Brody, for authoring a historically accurate biography of Joseph Smith entitled No Man Knows My History. And so I heard about that book when I was a teenager or a young man, before I was married even, but I didn't want to read it because it was full of anti-Mormon lies. And then I didn't know, but Dan Vogel wrote a biography of Joseph Smith in the early 2000s. And then a year later, Brother Bushman wrote a biography of Joseph Smith. And I recently read both Dan Vogel's and Richard Bushman's biographies. And what's Richard Bushman's called?
A Rough Stone Rolling.
Rough Stone Rolling. And Dan's was called Making of a Prophet. And the books feature almost the exact same facts. And Dan Vogel at the end of the chapter says, so Joseph Smith probably was a fraud. And Richard Bushman's conclusion is he's still a prophet, no matter what goes wrong with the church.
And I just finished reading the one by the recent one.
John
Turner.
John G. Turner.
This is pretty middle of the road. Interesting read.
Yeah, and I've been reading it via John DeLynn and John Turner talking about it on Mormon Stories Podcast. And it's making John DeLynn really appreciate maybe the tough life that Joseph Smith had, how tough it is to convince a group of people of a bunch of lies and keep them all together.
Yeah.
and to double down when you make prophecies that don't come true. You double down on them. And but that sounds a lot like politicians almost, huh? That we know of.
Right.
No.
So Tim, read 21.
After feeling the need to respond to the rising popularity of Fawn Brody's Joseph Smith biography, which everyone should read, the Mormon Church attempting to become more honest, I was going to say dishonest, with its history during the Leonard Arrington years, 72 to 82, only to have the entire initiative scrapped by fears that church members might lose their faith if they were taught the honest history. And it was a volume of like 10 or 15 books covering each period of church history, written by several scholars.
Yeah. Is it true that you dated Fawn Brody when you were young?
Sure. She taught at I wish I'd gone to UCLA and taken a history class from her. That would have been
right.
fun.
I mean, she was a great historian, professor.
Yep.
She wrote a book about Thomas Jefferson, right?
Thomas Jefferson, and I
won
read that.
awards.
Yes, I read that book.
She was physically very attractive as well.
She was.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've never actually seen a picture of her, but
You haven't? Oh.
no. But every fawn I've ever known,
You fawn over.
yeah,
You fawn over?
fawnable, right?
Yeah. So, but she was very pretty.
Yeah, from what I've seen.
Okay, so I'll read 22. Or is Brother Jones there?
22. Mormon Apostle Bruce R. McConkie publicly claiming in 1981 that the Adam God doctrine was never known to be taught in the church, only to acknowledge in private to Eugene England in the same year. Yes, President Young did teach that Adam was the father of our spirits and all the related things that cultists ascribe to him.
That's the McConkie England letter.
Yeah, so cultists are truthful tellers of history, according to Bruce R. McConkie, apparently. Yeah, and I remember Spencer W. Kimball got up in conference and said no such thing was taught. And some other Peterson or somebody said, preposterous that Adam is God. Right? Do you remember
Marquis
that?
Peterson. Marquis Peterson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I would only have known it that they were denying that it existed, only to find out that it really was a teaching of Brigham Young.
I have a small anecdote. This would have been back around 1976 or 77. I had a close friend whose father was an institute monk. And I was just a little kid, and I remember my friend, this guy's son, saying something about an Adam God theory. I'm like 7 years old, right? 8 years old. We just want to go play. But he mentioned something about, you heard about the Adam God theory or something? That was that. But that was the first time I'd ever heard of such a thing. In about 1977, which I find funny that I can still remember this.
Shoot. Kendra Kim threw me off with her comment about what about Dan Vogel and the guys that are, writers? Are they attractive?
I'm attracted to him.
I'm personally strangely attracted to Dan and John. They're both very attractive. Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I say that, Kendra Kim, because I went to school with a girl named Fawn. She's the only Fawn I've ever known, but she was, she was attractive.
Good looking.
But yes,
You see, and we wouldn't know this if it weren't for my friend Jay Bell and Ron Prittis, who took the letter. Jay got a hold of the letter and made a copy of it, and then stamped with a green stamp, "Do not reproduce," all over the place on it. And Ron Prittis took it down to Kinko Copyright downstairs at the 70s press office and next to Grandpa's books, and made a copy. And Jay didn't know he did it until the Tanners got a hold of it.
there you go.
Yeah.
And I'll say that I'll read the next one. I was going to say something, but I'll read the next one. Boyd K. Packer explicitly justifying the deception of the membership by privately stating he publicly stated in his 1981 talk entitled "The Mantle is Far, Far Greater Than the Intellect," but it wasn't widely published.
It was in BYU Studies.
Yes, it wasn't widely published. It wasn't as read at the pulpit by all the bishops or anything like that.
No.
Or have a fifth Sunday lesson or something. But
there was a pamphlet, if I remember right.
Boyd Packer said, "Some things that are true are not very useful."
And this is right when I was getting to BYU. He gave this talk right before I entered BYU. This is August of 81. And I went, yeah.
When he says some things that are true are not very useful, does he mean that some things that are true might impact our tithing receipts?
Probably.
Probably so.
Randy, you want to read 24?
Sure. The Mormon Church attempting to purchase the Mark Hoffman forgeries in an overt attempt to hide the potentially controversial documents from its members.
And that's featured in our thumbnail, where we see that Tim was actually at that room where
I was in the meeting
where they purchased some Mark Hoffman forgeries. Just check our thumbnail out. It's hilarious. Michelle does a great job.
Mark was there. Michelle does an excellent job with all our thumbnails.
Okay, Tim, you want to read 25?
The Mormon Church enlisting hired apologists such as Nibley, Peterson, Sorensen, Gee, Ash, Bushman, Terrell, and Fiona Givens Fleurman for decades to publicly attack the character of honest truth-tellers of Mormon history and to mislead and gaslight its membership regarding problematic church history.
Like, no, ma'am, that's not history.
Which is an interesting pamphlet to read.
It was Nibley's.
It was actually, I heard that it was actually rubber banded to copies of No Man Knows My History in the BYU bookstore. I don't know when they stopped doing it, but yeah.
That'd be funny if it sold more copies by having that rubber band around it. Like, why is there a rubber band around this? 26.
So they enlisted hired apologists, but now they're enlisting the
influencers,
social influencers. Yeah. In a move of desperation, IMHO.
Yeah, maybe in the future is they just hire people who aren't Mormons to say how good the church is.
I'm saying it's too little, too late.
Like Katy Perry, I'm waiting for Katy Perry to do a public service announcement about how fucking awesome the Mormon church is.
Right.
She'll take $1 billion for saying that, I bet.
Sure she will.
Yeah.
Hey, give me $1 billion. You know what? Give me $1 million and I'll say anything you want me to say. Anything. And I'll do it naked standing on my head for $1 million. Yeah. On this podcast.
There you go. The challenge is out there.
You didn't give me 500,000.
I was going to say Tim is going to require tithing from his living room. From his living room headquarters.
From my living room headquarters.
Hell, slip me a 20.
Church. Number 26, the Mormon Church excommunicating or intimidating honest scholars and activists for openly discussing problematic church history. such as Fawn Brody, Juanita Brooks, Michael Quinn, Maxine Hanks, Brent Metcalf, Jeremy Reynolds, Sam Young, and John DeLynn, and who else?
Me.
Bill
And-
Reel.
No, it says honest scholars, Tim.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Bill Reel. That's a good one.
Bill Real. Yeah.
And most recently was the person that Randy and I interviewed.
Hyatt. Karen.
Yeah.
Karen Hyatt.
And that you mentioned that there was someone who was going to be excommunicated,
Oh,
and I can't
Nemo.
help but think that it's going to be Todd's brother.
Yeah, not going to be Todd's brother.
It's not going to be Wade.
Unless Wade Christopherson took his channel down.
Oh,
Critical.
someone who has a channel.
Yeah, somebody who has a channel took down their stuff. But yeah, Nemo, Peter Bleakley, and both Peter Bleakley still goes to church.
Nemo goes sometimes.
Yeah, Nemo goes sometimes.
Um,
Nemo sang with the not Mormon Tabernacle Choir on
the
Temple
Tabernacle,
Square.
the Tabernacle Choir on Temple Square.
It's like the artist formerly known as Prince. The artist formerly known as the Mormon Tabernacle Choir.
Tabernacle Choir.
Okay, number 27. Gordon B. Hinckley publicly condemning polygamy on Larry King's Live as being not doctrinal when the doctrine remains enshrined in D&C 132 and when church leaders, including Dallin H. Oaks and Russell M. Nelson, continued to live celestial polygamy.
I got a comment here. I think it was during those interviews, I should say, one of the objectives of those public appearances was to distance the church from fundamentalists, right?
Yes.
And so he was like, we have nothing to do with these people. They are not us. We're very different, blah, blah, blah. And as the more you learn about the history of all this, you come to realize that the church created those groups. Meaning the events that happened back in the late 1890s is what created those groups.
Yeah. Well, and the Taylor trial and the revelation that they just released from John Taylor that they denied all those years that all of a sudden popped up.
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole thing with Under the Banner of Heaven, right? Was that the polygamists have a revelation that gives them permission to be.
Permission.
Yeah.
Well, he did ordain men to keep plural marriage alive.
Yeah.
It was their belief that it would not leave the earth until the Savior comes. So
Okay,
they're going to
whose
keep
turn
it
is
left
it?
somehow.
Number 28. Who wants to read that one?
I'll read that one. 28. Gordon B. Hinckley publicly denying that the Mormon Church taught that men and women could become gods by stating, "I don't know that we teach it. I don't know that we emphasize it."
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty ballsy for him
And
to
then
get
what'd
up
he do?
there and say that.
And then what did he do right after that at conference?
He poked fun at what he said and said, "Of course I know the doctrine." He told that to the
Right.
members right across the
Right.
pulpit.
Right.
Jeez, did he really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That was around 1996 or 8 or something like that.
Yeah. 96, I think, is when it happened. 96.
Randy was probably in France at the time and wasn't keeping up with Mormon.
That's probably absolutely right. Yes.
So we'll give you a pass on that.
Thanks.
Okay.
I thought it was funny that Brother Jones said something happening in 1976 or 77. And he said, of course, I was just, little then. But in 77, you and I, Gene, were not little. We were graduating from high school. So
we
that
thought we
means
were big stuff.
3 of us are old farts, and 1 of us has not reached that yet.
And I was home from my mission for about a year and 2 years. 76.
We'll have Tim read number 29.
Gordon B. Hinckley stating publicly that the members are entitled to know where their tithing goes when he knew the church financial information is withheld from its members.
And then read that little box, and because this is from an interview, right?
Helmut. In my country, we say the people's churches, the Protestants, the Catholics, they publish all their budgets to all the public. And I was a missionary in Germany, and I can attest to that fact. Hinckley, yeah. Helmut, why is it impossible for your church? Hinckley, well, we simply think that information belongs to those who made the contributions and not to the world. That's the only thing. Yes.
Tim, did you ever add up how much tithing you paid?
Too much. I never paid a full tithe. I will here admit I never paid a full tithe.
And you paid a smaller amount because it was in more valuable dollars in the.
Well, I figured I gave so much time to the church. I volunteered so much.
You kind of tithed your tithe from your other.
I tithed my time. I mean, all the people I helped move who never showed up to church. We moved these families in, and they'd never come to church, and then they'd be gone when we went to go visit them. So
that's where the church got the idea to include that in their donations to the poor. They said, if Tim Rathbone can do it, we can do it.
We can.
Right.
So they include all of Tim's work moving people as a donation to the public.
Anyway, that was my justification.
Charitable contribution.
For that, because I mean, like when you're in church for 3 hours of meetings before you even, you're 6 hours a Sunday,
Yeah.
It's just, I mean, bishopric meeting and then welfare and then ward council.
Yeah, it's a lot of stuff. Number 30.
And then during the week, having to go help people do stuff. It's just, anyway.
I know. Every day when Mormonism grabbed a hold of that day's balls and made you do stuff.
But I know that my ex-wife did pay it a full on her income. So,
and is she on her way to the celestial kingdom?
I don't know where she's on her way to.
Number 30, the Mormon Church withholding extensive diaries, journals, and historical records from its members for over a century until the internet forced its hand.
Thank heavens it did.
And the church has been good with the Joseph Smith papers, and they say they're going to be good with the what's the next papers project?
Clayton Diary.
Clayton Diaries.
Well, they did the Council of 50, which I thought we'd never see. So.
And I predicted that they're going to eliminate the young women's program by requiring girls at 12 years old to become missionaries. Then they just move them right into the mission field, so they don't have any time to learn stuff on the internet.
That's what it's getting to. They go right from junior high school on to their missions.
Did we talk about this earlier before the show? Because I heard this earlier today or read it
Oh.
somewhere.
RFM was saying it in the
Last
Mormon
night?
newscast.
Thank you. Okay.
Yeah.
I knew I heard it recently.
He said that?
He said they'll go
Yes.
right from, what does he say? Right from grade school
Go to missionary.
onto their mission.
Wow. Because I'm pretty sure I said that on Sunday in the Salt Lake Expositor. So
You
now
could
we
have
know
said
who
it
watches.
too. Yeah. Well, when I was at BYU and talked to Brother Richie, they were trying to come up with some kind of a ceremony like baptism to keep the youth in, because even back in the 80s, they knew that they were losing kids between high school and mission time.
So let's see, 31. The Mormon Church explicitly forbidding current Mormon apostles and prophets from keeping journals so as to prevent any future sensitive church information from coming to light. So that's the old, if you see behind the curtain, if you see how the sausage is made, there's no way you're going to believe God has anything to do with it. Is that right, Tim?
Yeah, and I remember my friend Jay. Jay was really interested in Lorenzo Snow's presidency, and we were at U of U archives one time. He was reading some diaries, and he said, "You're not going to believe what I found." And I said, "What?" And I can't remember whose diary it was, but in the diary, and this is 1890s, he says, we've been told by President Woodruff not to write so many personal things in our diary anymore.
Yeah.
So over 100 years ago, he told them that, and then less and less and less and less. And then I know that when a general authority dies, if he has a book that is about to be published, they cancel it. They have a tight control over the manuscript. And then after so many years after general authority is dead, they won't publish his books anymore. Like McConkie, I don't know if they still publish any of his books. The Messiah series or Mormon Doctrine, we know they don't publish that anymore.
Brother Jones had to leave.
Brother Jones had to leave. Thank you, Brother Jones.
I'm putting in the chat if somebody wants to come on and talk or join the show.
Yeah, where's Trevor? Why is Trevor still out?
So we didn't announce it or anything, but Tim wanted to get the show going with the main principals, which is Tim and the three podcasters that are simultaneously delivering the show, and then have people join the show later.
Oh, gotcha.
Trevor is such an awesome chatter as well. I'm sure he doesn't mind it that much.
Well, Trevor was missed. When I was watching Mormonism Live's Friday night, everybody kept asking me, "Where's Trevor? Where's Trevor?" I said, "Well, Trevor's kind of taking a break for a while. He'll come back when he wants to." And then Saturday night with RFM, "Where's Trevor? Where's Trevor?" And I told them, "Well, he's taking a break. But he is loved and he is missed."
Well, he's here tonight.
He's here tonight. We appreciate you, Trevor.
We're glad you're alive, Trevor.
Yes.
Number 32 is the Mormon Church attempting to take control over and privatize the Leonard Arrington Records collection at Utah State University. And Utah State snatched it out of the church's hands at the last second when the church was trying to do it, because that was Leonard Arrington's wishes. And I know that Patrick Mason has talked about that, I think, on Mormon Stories, about that story. Tim, you want to read 33?
The Mormon Church claiming that no tithing funds were used to build City Creek Mall.
There you go.
That's bunk.
That's bunk.
Yeah, and that caused a major tithe payer to sue them. Number 34. The gaslighting infused into LDS gospel topics essays. So,
Oh,
and
brother.
how I will characterize that is when I would read the Gospel Topics essays and also the New Saints series, I would say the church is being more honest. And I told my wife at the time when she was still attending church that I was surprised with the Saints series, but they're still only telling 40% of the truth. They're not telling the whole truth.
Right.
So help them God, we'll say.
You swear, Gene?
I was administering the oath to the church, the constitutional
Excuse me.
oath, or the court of law oath when you promise to tell the truth and the whole truth and nothing but the truth, which is like 3 versions of truth.
Right.
Number 35. Randy, you want to read that?
The Mormon Church referring to the lifting of the black priesthood ban as a policy change when the church knows good and well that the black priesthood ban was declared to be doctrinal by the First Presidency in 1949.
Oh boy.
Those little cheaters.
Number 36. Elder Jeffrey R. Holling lying publicly when asked if U.S. presidential candidate Mitt Romney would have taken a blood oath in his Mormon temple endowment. And Nemo has a good episode about that as well.
Does he?
Yeah, early on, a couple of years ago, Nemo went through that. And it's because the interviewer was British. And so Nemo was really proud of how the British interviewer wasn't going to take any guff from Jeffrey Holland.
How he continued to press.
Yeah, how he continued on, how he got after him when he lied. He made him take his lie back. And that's pretty much the last time there's been an actual interview with a Mormon apostle. Now, there's been some Mormon apostles make appearances, like Oakes went somewhere and
safely enclosed amongst themselves.
Yeah, but they've been to things. They went to that millionaire conference. I don't know what it's called. I don't know. There's a bunch of millionaires at it, and then there's Bednar said that the church has millions of dollars instead of billions.
Is that where he said the church no longer needs your money?
It could be. And since
the Lord does not need your money.
Yeah, let's play that.
The Lord does not need your money.
Let's play another thing about tithing.
He made a promise to his children that he would open the windows of heaven and pour out a blessing that there shall not be room enough to receive it. Not only that, tithing will keep your name enrolled among the people of God and protect you in the day of vengeance and burning.
Fire insurance.
And
if he made a promise to his children.
There's the other one.
Really
if
hungry.
a destitute family is faced with the decision of paying their tithing or eating, they should pay their tithing.
Disgusting.
Yeah, very disgusting. That would be the top 40 disgusting behaviors. We're talking about the dishonest behaviors.
Right.
We just thought of another show. Russell M. Nelson claiming on number 37 that the heinous November 2015 LGBTQ exclusion policy was inspired of God. It was prophecy, Tim, don't you know?
Of course it was.
Around 3 years later, and claimed that the rescinding reversal of the now called policy was also a revelation from God. And Nelson also claimed that the LGBTQ exclusion policy was motivated by love.
Yeah, sure.
Whose love?
That reminds me of who was the famous comedian in the 60s? was the hippie
George
dippy brother
Carlin?
man, George Carlin, when he talks about that if you don't obey his commandments, you'll burn in hell forever. But he loves you.
Right. He loves you.
Randy, do you have it in you to read number 38?
Elder Ballard explicitly denying in November of 2017 that the Mormon church leaders have ever attempted to hide, I think
Yeah, we'll say
never,
never.
is supposed to be, never attempted to hide any troubling history from its members, ever. Some are saying that the church has been hiding the fact that there's more than one version of the first vision, which is just not true. The facts are we don't study. We don't go back and search what has been said on the subject. For example, Dr. James B. Allen of BYU in 1970, he produced an article for the church magazines explaining all about the different versions of the first vision. But it's this idea that the church is hiding something, which we would have to say as two apostles that have covered the world and know the history of the church and know the integrity of the first presidency and the quorum of the 12 from the beginning of time. There has been no attempt on the part in any way of the church leaders trying to hide anything from anybody. Now, we've had the Joseph Smith papers. We didn't have those where they are in our hands now. And so we're learning more about the prophet Joseph. So just trust us whenever you're in the world. Sure, trust us. And you share this message with anyone else who raises the question about the church not being transparent. We're as transparent as we know how to be in telling the truth. We have to do that. That's the Lord's way. Oh,
Now,
whatever.
I will say this, that there was a microfilm copy of the Joseph Smith papers in the BYU archives. Also, the U of U archives had one. So
See?
anybody who wanted to go to the archives to see them could see them. In fact, Scott Fallring made some printouts of some stuff from the Joseph Smith papers and shared with people. So, yeah. But it wasn't widely known.
And Randy, I got chills. I felt you channeled Elder Ballard in that quote.
Did you could tell?
Yeah, I thought you did a great job.
Thanks. I felt very Ballard-esque when I was
An excellent job. Oh, good.
Let's pick apart some of the funnier parts of that thing. Some saying the church has been hiding the fact that there's more than one version of the first vision, which is just not true. So they said in 1970, somebody produced an article, right? Gee, so did anybody know in 1960? Did anybody know in 1920? Did anybody know in 1870?
The Tanners would have known about it in the 60s.
Right,
That's
but the church hid it for
the church
150 years almost.
Right, exactly.
Right? And so it is true that they've been hiding it.
Yes.
Yeah, he's just gaslighting us, saying that we just don't do our studies and research.
And then Dallin Oaks chipped in that you know we've been open for a long time, since 1970, about that. You know, whatever he said, I can't remember. And then he says that from the beginning of time, there's been no attempt. I don't know, Tim, you were around at the beginning of time, but none
What's
of
your
these
question?
guys have been. I mean, to say from the beginning of time is just ridiculous.
That's true.
And no attempt in any way to hide anything from anybody. And this whole show is about them hiding stuff from people. And it began with a lie, and there's been lying liars ever since.
Lying liars. You can know that when their lips are moving, they're lying. Well, we have a lawyer. They have a lawyer as the leader of the church now, who gave a lecture at the BYU Law School on how to lie.
That's right. Because lying is what God wants you to do sometimes.
Lying for the Lord.
Lying is caring.
So, Tim, do you remember any of the things that were your inputs into this list?
No, I don't. It's been
You
a
don't
while.
remember specifically. So there's other things that are listed on honorable mention. So apparently a couple of things were taken out, maybe a bunch more because it says 40 at the top and then it starts by saying 50 and it goes down to 38. I don't know if some people said that's not a really good one to have in, and so John took it out without retitling this thing. But anyway, prohibiting generations of non-worthy LDS and or non-LDS family and friends from the United States from attending the wedding ceremonies of their believing family and friends. So yeah, that's like shitty policies. That's like we were saying, problems. What did you say? What did we say that it wasn't 50 dishonest things, but 50 terrible things?
Heinous.
Starts with a
Heinous.
D. What word starts with a D? Disgusting.
Deplorable?
Disgusting. It's disgusting that they haven't let family and friends go.
Well, now you can get.
Just tell everybody to get married and then seal your wedding at some point, right?
That's
They're
what
so
they
afraid.
They
They're so
allow
afraid
them to do that now. Now they're allowed to do that.
Right. They
They're
do it
allowed
now.
to
They
have
could have
it.
done it for 150 years.
Well, look at the marriage, the plural marriage of Wilford Woodruff happened on a boat.
There you
There's
go.
no endowment involved. And Brigham Young and Wilford and Heber Kimball going around before the temple was finished, sealing husbands and wives
Under a
in
tree.
Nauvoo, the 40 or so examples that I have in my paper.
Yeah.
And I have a friend who was sealed in a cave. They wanted to be sealed in a cave, and somehow they got special permission. The husband and wife to be sealed, married in a cave somewhere. I can't remember all the
Randy has
details.
always wanted to be sealed in a cave, but he's afraid he wouldn't be able to come out.
I got a kind of a phobia about that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just something. I mean, I was surprised when I read when Hinckley became prophet, they did a little blurb on him before there was Wikipedia, and it talked about how he got married civilly and then traveled to the Salt Lake Temple, right, to get married. Like, and I don't know if they waited a year or if it's just whenever they could, but it's like, no big deal. Just like all the whole first presidency last year saying, go on missions, young men, when not a one of them went on a mission, right? Oaks
Correct.
didn't go on a mission.
Oaks didn't go.
Nelson didn't go on a mission.
I would invite.
Irene didn't go.
I don't think so. I think he went to B school. I don't remember.
I would invite Brother Richard Holmes to go to the LDS. No, what is it now? Church of Jesus Christ.org, and just take a little look-see at the gospel topic essays, and they will, in the church's information, they will explain to you that there are multiple accounts of the first vision. This isn't just something that we made up. You can look it up on the church's website.
There you go. Are you laughing at the peer-reviewed?
Yes.
Peer-reviewed research from Berkeley Group confirms only 1 in 15 trillion chance that Nephi and Alma were written by the same author.
I want to see the receipts.
Yeah.
15 trillion. Hell, that's worse than the lottery chances.
I say there's 1 in a bazillion trillion that there was anybody even named Nephi or Alma that were Nephites.
I concur.
Okay, Richard, you can believe whatever you want to believe, but have you read them all? Or
That's
is he
interesting.
being facetious?
1 in a 15 trillion chance. That's pretty good.
It's a pretty good chance.
So you say there's a chance. That's what
There
I would
is
say.
a chance.
There's a chance.
You're telling me there's a chance.
There's a chance.
Oh, go ahead, Randy. Put up that other one that you were going to put up.
Interesting.
Trevor. That's hilarious. Okay, there was something else I was going to read. Russell Nelson broadly proclaims that Mormons believe that marriage should only be between one man and one woman, while D&C teaches 132, and Russell Nelson himself, as well as apostle and now prophet Dallin Oaks, both sealed to multiple women for the eternities. Yeah, this list can be updated because what else would we say that are recent lies?
Well, I'll bet you if we asked Todd Christofferson what he knew about Wade, he
And
would
when did he
lie
know
like
it?
a rug.
That's right. He would equivocate. What do we call that when you kind of don't really say the truth?
Well, there's several words, but you could be embellishing.
Neil Anderson said, "We are not a wealthy people, but we are a good people, and we share what we have."
I shall return in a moment. I need to get something.
Less than a month after Neil Anderson said that, the Mormon Church showed it was proven to have $120 billion plus stockpile of investments through Ensign Peak Advisors. So they weren't even sharing the information, not as much as even the money, much less the money that they had. And I don't think anything goes out of the Ensign Peak to actually be to charitable people. Anything that the church declares as charities is stuff that individual church members donate.
Right.
Except for every now and then there's something where they promise $20 million to some group to pay for scholarships or something.
I think that the giving machines is a good example.
There you
While
go.
it's a wonderful concept, it's not the church donating the things that are inside that machine. It's people donating. The church is just kind of providing the machines and controlling it, and that's good. I mean, I commend them for that. But it's not like the other one's paying for the items that are inside on those cards.
What are you talking about?
The giving machines.
Oh, we have one here in Baker Dirt. It's
Yeah, I
two
remember you
tenths.
saying that.
It's a tenth or 2/10 of a mile from where they want to build a temple. So is it coincidence? I doubt it.
Probably not.
It's strategic. They want to see how much people will give. I even took pictures for you guys. There was nobody there, and it was Sunday afternoon, about 3:30, I think. Now, the fourth one, Ezra Taft Benson attempting to destroy copies of, ta-da, the Story of the Latter-day Saints, because it contains the words communitarianism, which he thought sounded like communism in this book.
Wow. Who wrote that book?
Jim Allen and Glenn Leonard.
That's James B. Allen wrote that?
Yeah.
Wow. He's a defender of the church.
And of the universe. Galaxy.
Yeah.
I'm doing something for a little bit. Let's see. I'm going to share another page. If I can do the right thing. Do I have to stop that screen? I'm going to share another screen that about Mormon Think. So Mormon Think
Yeah.
is a good place to go to find some things. I recommend people go there. There's an article in Mormon Think about lying for the Lord, and I'm trying to find it. I'm going to put in the link in the comments.
There is a talk.
There's a talk.
If I can find it.
There you go, Lying for the Lord. The following was written by Ken Clark from Mormon Think. And he was in the church education system for 27 years. I wonder if he's still around. So anyway, 150 something things. So there's that. Oh, I tried to open this at first and it said that it was unsecure, and I don't know why, but I think there's, if people don't keep up their website, then it's possible that hackers can put in things, and so you just have to be careful. I will share this article too. So anyhow, what do you think?
I think so.
Yeah. We promised 40 things. We did 41 and a half things. That's close enough for me.
Can I share an image?
Share an image.
Sure.
This is a video that just came out. And for any of you who are interested in ghost type stuff, it's just me doing my own little video by myself. But it's a story that I think a lot of you will be interested in. It's on Momo Nomo.
There you go. It looks like you have a partial guest on your show.
Yeah, exactly.
I can see right through your guest, but not necessarily through you.
He's very transparent.
Yeah, okay. That's the positive side.
Yeah.
Yeah. And later on in the week, Randy and I are going to be showing an interview we did with, it's coming up. We're going to interview Cheryl Bruno and talk about the upcoming Journal of Mormon Polygamy Conference, where all things are polygamy. So Richard Holmes is still helping us out.
That's what
LDS know the Bible better. So speaking about knowing the Bible better, the apparently the scripture, whatever it's called, is allowing Mormons to use whatever version of the Bible they want when they do lessons.
Well, when I was in Germany, they used the Martin Luther Bible.
Yeah, you commented on Rebecca Biblioteca showing that on the LDS scripture website, whatever it is, that you can use all these things. And people were saying, oh man, that would have been so great when I was a teacher 30 years ago or something, because there are lots of,
I wonder, is this Richard Holmes, somebody I knew? Oh, Holmes. Never mind.
Sherlock's brother, his Mormon cousin.
So LDS know the Bible better than members of other churches. Richard, where have you been living under a rock? Where have you been sleeping? Have you heard of Bart Ehrman or Any other? How about what's his
Thank you, love. Sorry.
name?
So, in a way, I thought just like Richard, because the Mormon Church was there, allowed God to tell Steve Jobs of Apple Computer and Steve Wozniak how to build better computers, all because the Mormon Church existed. And so yeah, Richard, you're in the larvae stage. You're thinking. It doesn't mean your thinking is great right now, but you are thinking, and so I respect that.
I would say, Richard, get a book called "Who Wrote the Bible." I can, if you're on Facebook, I can send you a nice bibliography of books to read. You know that none of it was written down when it happened.
None of
all the
what?
stuff.
Say it again.
None of what happened in the Bible was written when it happened.
Right.
It all happened. The New Testament was not written until 50 to 60 years after the man supposedly lived, and even the letters of Paul, the letters to the different churches were written down years after they were given. There were oral histories before that, and they were each to a different community.
Yeah, so some guy out there said he checked the footnote on the 1 in 47 trillion chance, and it says there's no current text in this page. You search for this page, title and other pages. You can search somewhere else for it. So yeah, if you just throw numbers out there and just say whatever comes out of your orifice, wherever that is, you might convince somebody, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, thanks for watching, Richard.
Thanks for watching, guys. Yeah. You're welcome, Richard. If you want to come on the show, come on the show.
Richard, I was just perusing your Facebook page. I hope you don't mind. Maybe I can give you a friend request.
Can we see the study? Where's the study from, Richard?
Some guy out there testifies that when he was a member, he was bad with the Bible. I loved carrying around the quad or the triple combination and the Bible to show I was hefting the scriptures around. That meant since I had a Bible, I must be opening it up. And I did open it up every now and then. Wow. And so Richard Holmes says he doesn't have a Facebook page. It's
just a bizarre coincidence, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay, Richard. Well, too bad.
There's probably a few Richard Holmes out there that are Mormons.
I cannot believe that there's more than one Richard Holmes. What are you talking about?
As brother Motor Holmes.
Today is Beethoven's birthday.
Happy birthday to
Beethoven.
He's probably rolling over right now.
255 years old. My favorite composer. Happy birthday, Beethoven.
I guess he's decomposing now.
He's decomposing, yeah.
I see what you did there. That was pretty clever.
All great composers decompose at some point. So our show is about to decompose, although some people will say right from the beginning, it was all downhill. At least we were at the top sometime.
My goodness. I don't care what Paul Gregerson says.
Yeah,
I know
Paul Gregerson. I'm sure that he'd be appointed to some presidential advisory council nowadays on Egyptology, because probably would be good.
If you heard of
no respectful Egyptologist thinks anything about Joseph Smith's translation abilities, anything other than that it was bad. And so, but yeah, if you can find somebody that believes and says there's a certain reasons why you can believe it, then that you never know. It could be. Yeah. So in order to be well-rounded, some guy out there said that maybe watching something other than the BYU channel. Yeah, for scholarship.
Who's the guy that did the Book of Abraham stuff?
That passed away because of
Yes.
Yeah. Exmo Joe, tell us, who was the great Egyptologist that John Dehlin would have on?
Oh.
Hugh Nibley. No, not Hugh Nibley. Recently. And yeah. Yeah, I can see him. I can hear him talk, but I can't think of it. But yes, he's the only Robert Rittner.
Robert Rittner.
He's the only respectable Egyptologist that would even consider
Thank
that
you,
Joseph
Trevor.
Smith could do it, right? And so what else did Richard say? The translation from Smith was never supposed to match up with the translation from that of the arrogant Egyptologist to begin with.
Wait. So we're talking about
That's moving the goalposts out of the stadium.
So wait. So we have one scroll from one mummy that is 1,000 years separated from the hypocephalus, which is another Book of the Dead thing. You know they're separated in time, right, Richard? You do know that the scroll from one is not the same.
We have to be grateful for Richard. He's shown us exactly why this topic is the top 40 Mormon dishonest behaviors, and why we agree that there's maybe hundreds or thousands of more, and we're just hitting the top ones.
Richard's being dishonest right now.
Yeah.
You know he's being dishonest.
Yeah, that's totally dishonest.
You live in your echo chamber, Richard, and you haven't gone outside of it.
Richard,
I'm going to challenge you to go outside of it.
Joseph Smith was a prophet, and when Tim was a little kid, Joseph Smith warned Tim of some guy in the future named Richard Holmes that might be spewing some things that Joseph Smith never ever said.
Richard, how much porn are you watching? Are you masturbating?
Richard, as you are, I once was. As
you are, we once were. Yes, we are. You'll become someday. I guarantee you, within the next 2 years, you'll become like us.
And Tim, I resemble your remarks.
About what?
I can only function because of modern day. It's self-medicating for me. Bubble porn.
Bubble porn. Oh, we should show some. Find it and show some.
Look, Tim, don't you know that people that learn things are just arrogant? You always need to trust people that don't know the things. If somebody learns something, they just become proud.
Carrie Muhlstein's Egyptology degree should be taken away.
Yeah.
Are you dumb enough to assume that Joseph Smith was interpreting correctly, Richard Holmes? I'd like to know what Richard knows. Richard, come on the show. I dare you. I double dog dare you to come on the show and double dog dare you.
There are NASA scientists that got man to the moon, and maybe Richard doesn't believe that man went to the moon. I don't know. Right? But
double dog dare you. Double dog dare you.
I'll bet that Richard would rather get in a spaceship that was piloted by a prophet who was going to pray their way to the moon than to trust educated scientists with something that dangerous.
Yes, Richard. Thoughts and prayers. Thoughts and prayers. Do more.
Seriously. Seriously, Richard, we'll send you the link. I promise we won't be mean and we won't argue, but I'd love for you to come on and have a little chat with Tim and Gene and I. We won't, it'll be gloves on. No,
Yeah, I know there's nothing worse than getting an education and becoming knowledgeable about a subject.
right?
And so that's what makes this show go so good.
We're all uneducated.
We are all uneducated. So, Richard, you should actually worship us because between the three of us, we have I don't know. Randy, you don't have a 4-year degree, do you?
I do not.
Do you have a 2-year degree in anything?
I do. In
Okay.
criminal justice. And then I have a degree from the Walt Disney University, but I don't even know what that counts as.
Yeah, it's a Mickey Mouse degree.
Yeah, it's a Mickey Mouse.
I have a degree from the respected Harvard of the West, Cal State University, East Bay.
Nice.
And I have
Business.
a history degree from BYU.
There you
And
go.
I worked in
History
the
degree from
BYU archives. I worked in the BYU archives, and I worked for
Nice.
farms.
You have
And
something
I
Joseph Smith doesn't even have.
Went to the BYU to the church archives for 1 or 2 days a week for the 5 or 6 years I was at BYU.
See, Miss Woozy tops us all. Her degree of skepticism outweighs any educated person.
Miss Woozy, I've been messaging you, but you can't see it. I don't know why. Some screwy thing where when I'm on this channel, my comments can't be seen by, I don't know. I don't get it.
Okay, hang on.
I'm still working on it.
Yeah.
Hang on.
And it would look like it was from me if you did the all button.
Right. Yeah.
But anyway, I'm going to wrap the show up.
Wait.
Well, I'm going to wrap it up when you look up something, and then I won't stop it yet. But my mother-in-law fractured her left wrist at the
I'm
beginning.
sorry.
So yeah, Woozy's on Latter Daily Digest, and so either you have to open up a thing or whatever. Yeah. So my wife recently came home and is going to give me an update, and so anyhow,
Okay, here is an example of bubble porn. Here is a before.
oh, your finger touched the screen. But anyway, we saw it.
Here is a before.
I'm only interested in the after.
And here is an after.
Let's put that in the middle. So go closer.
Oh my gosh, I'm strangely aroused.
Lift
And
up your
some
phone a little bit
kid-
higher, a little bit higher, a little bit higher. Okay, everybody, take a screenshot of that.
Some kid at BYU designed this.
And so anyway,
Okay.
Miss Woozy, we'll come on. We'll end the show. Thanks everybody for watching. Like and share and subscribe. Next week is going to be the holiday edition, where we don't know what the hell we're going to do, but we're going to appreciate.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we have
We're
an
going to have
idea.
Tim dress up as baby Jesus, and we're going to do a Christmas creche.
Oh,
That'll be good for Michelle to do a Christmas creche with Tim's head on baby Jesus.
oh.
Thanks everybody for watching.
Okay. Thank
Oh,
you,
yeah.
guys.
We'll put us
Bye,
all
y'all.
three back on.
Jen
they can
says
wave.
good night. Oh, are we
And
done?
we'll say
Jen.